The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the brand new installment of the Hunger Games franchise, the fifth installment, which is a prequel to those four original films that, of course, were based on books. They split. Remember this? They split the last book into two. Remember that was a thing. That was a bit of a trend going on ever since like the final Harry Potter films, like Deathly Hallows Part 1, Part 2. And then they're like, oh, that's successful. That made a lot of money. Let's do it for every single YA novel. Let's do it for Hunger Games. Let's do it for a Twilight. Let's do it for Divergent, even though that final Divergent film never saw the light of day. And oh, what about The Hobbit? But the Hobbit, it's that tiny of a book. What are you gonna do with it? Oh, we'll make it into 3 movies. You just go, okay, all that kind of stuff. But here's the thing, when this movie got announced, I think a lot of us was like, why? Is there an audience for this? Like, seriously. Like, here's the thing about the box office of the Hunger Games films, that each movie kind of dipped a bit. It made less and less money than the previous film. So, like, Mockingjay Part 2 became the lowest grossing film of the franchise. So your head starts thinking, is there hunger for this? We know there's a book of this prequel, and I get it. The idea is make a movie on that. I get you, but is it worth it? Is it worth making? And then the trailers came out, and we all went, holy shit, this looks good. And then the social media reaction came along saying it's the best film of the franchise. And me, who didn't saw how it ended, but saw the first 3 films, who just saw the film, I will say this is the best movie of the franchise. Is it going to win Oscars? Is it going to be in maybe the top 10 films? You know what? If I ever do the top 10 list, probably yes, knowing all the films I have seen. Yeah, probably might be in the top 10. Maybe in the bottom half, 10, 8, 9, 7, that around that area. But because this movie is really, really good. Really, really good. Like, and it's one of those films where, the only complaint I have is, the first 15 minutes can be a bit slow, but the moment the plot starts moving, it kind of doesn't stop. And you're drawn to the characters, and you're drawn to this relationship. I mean, it's all about, we're doing the Darth Vader thing with this movie, which is we got a villain, President Snow, and we're going to see him as a young man, see how he became the man that he is in the earlier films. And we basically see that he is, there's some baggage with the Snows. They're thinking, it is a film dealing with the topic of nature versus nurture. So it's a lot of people feel like, the Snows, they were, your father was a mean, hard son of a bitch. And we can't wait for the Snow family to fall off. Yeah, so there's a bit of baggage of it, and so and you have President Snow kind of saying to himself, I don't want to be my dad, I don't want to be my father, I want to show that I'm different at the beginning of the film, and then he slowly turns into his father. That of course later heads to what we see in the first 4 Hunger Games films. And you just enjoy this journey and see this man turning to the dark side, you may say. And it all comes down to that line that you hear in the trailer, which is, the things we love is what refines us. And what you realize is his love changes. He loves what he loves, and what he cherishes the most changes and shifts. Like, we all thought, okay, when the movie started, and I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna be some love story. I mean, in a way, it is a love story, but I thought okay, it's gonna be a love story between Snow and who is in this film a mentor. He is a mentor, and the victim or the survivor or the contestant, you may say, who's selected into the Hunger Games, the 10th Hunger Games, and he's the mentor of this person is Lucy Gray. And you're thinking, okay, there's going to be this friendship, it's going to be a tonic that becomes into a friendship, that becomes something romantic, in this horrible, brutal world. I mean, we all know, like, the Hunger Games themselves can be really, like, oh, you can't help but go, oh my god, I can't believe I'm seeing that, PG-13 movie. And then, but this movie has, like, glass bottles getting shoved in necks, and people getting hung, and random people getting shot left, right, and center. And it is kind of reminding you how brutal this world is, if you're not, hell, not even if you're not, but if you're part of whatever part, if you're part of the capital, or if you're any part of the district, it is a very brutal world with brutal consequences if you break the rules, any slight of it, and that. But you think it's his love story, but you realize it's him thinking it's one thing he loves, which is Lucy, and him turning to but actually he loves the Hunger Games and what they stand for, and the capital, and and the things he loves, and that's what he loves. He loves the capital more than he likes the ideas more than physical objects, you may say. And it's a really interesting journey. I mean, yes, when we get to, it's in the trailers, and you see what the Hunger Games were at the very, very, very beginning, and it is a tense. I would say a tense 40 minutes, or a tense 30 minutes, or a tense 45 minutes. How long the games are. It's intense. It's really like you're looking every corner. You're worried about our characters. You're vested with these characters. The more that Snow cares about Lucy, we care about Lucy. So we're like, okay, just do this, oh that, and then you just get more invested with characters and the other contestants that you only meet maybe a couple out, like for like maybe 3 minutes max, and you're like, oh no, not that one. And they die that way? Oh, that's, oh, God. Yeah, because you got, naturally, as the Hunger Games mostly does, is show the outward nature of humans, and how desperate times comes to desperate measures. And then we all got, if in certain areas we will probably, we will more likely go into, dive into our outward nature. But it is a flow. It is this movie is was it 2 hours and 37 minutes long? Never felt it. Never felt the one time. Never felt I was drawn, invested. I was like absolutely. I was like, I can't believe like there was also a time where I was like, I kept forgetting that the film was coming out around the corner. I was like, no, and it wasn't, and that was way before there was even swipes going on at the time. I was like, oh yeah, there's a Hunger Games film coming out. I completely forgot about. And then trailers and all that, and I'm like, geez, this is really, really damn good. I was. The performances are great. From the internet's favorite person, Rachel Zegler, to Nora Davis, to Peter Dinklage, to Jason Schwartzman. To all these pieces, the performances are great. I'm like, this is pretty good. It is a really, really good movie. Jeez, do I recommend it? Just gonna go closer to my mic here. Yes. Sorry, headphone users.